Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And today we are actually building on a lot that I've built on quite often in Evergreen Harbor. So I love Evergreen Harbor. It's probably one of my favorite worlds. I don't know which version I like the best because if you didn't know, this world does change depending on the eco footprint, which you can activate in other worlds as well. Anyway, beside the point, I am building on this lot that is right by kind of the abandoned train tracks. Now, this originally has a bar and it's called the Caboose, and I have done I'm going to call it a renovation. It wasn't really, I did kind of sort of build it from the ground up, but I have built on this lot before. I believe I made it a bar, so I was trying to just improve what was here. However, I had the urge to build something completely different here, and I decided to make this a restaurant or a karaoke bar, so it does meet both lot requirements. The only reason it doesn't meet the bar lot requirement is because I didn't put a television in here. So, I mean, it can be run as a bar as well, but I think that a restaurant would probably be the best bet because your Sims could come here and get something to eat. There is also the requirement, I think, of having a bar at every restaurant. I don't actually know, but a mixologist does show up completely like on their own, completely independent from everything else. So you will have a mixologist on the lot if you run this as a restaurant. So you'll have the restaurant capabilities, you'll have the bar, and there's a karaoke machine, which when I play tested this, Sims were just actively using as is. So it's gonna work great, I think. But you can see that the shape is coming together. Now, I was a little bit worried that this was going to look too much like a house because it's kind of what it looks like. It looks like all of the other T-shaped houses that I make, and I was kind of concerned, but I think the little clock tower and these big platforms that resemble an older train station kind of saved it a little bit. Maybe when whoever bought this old train station and decided to actually convert it into a restaurant, maybe they did add on a few different additions. That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking that it was preserved as much as possible. It's really just the interior that was maybe a little bit more split up to actually fit what they were trying to turn it into, which is a restaurant. But I really like the shape. I think it still looks like a train station, and I just wanted it to be a little bit more of a hip place to be. Is that what the kids are saying these days? Hip? I don't know. It's a cooler little place. I think that this would attract a lot of people my age, us millennials, us almost geriatric millennials. Yes, that is a term. You should look it up. It makes me laugh so much because I am almost classified as a geriatric millennial. And when I read that, I said out loud to myself, yeah, that feels right. It just does. It feels right. But you can see that we're working on the exterior here. I did use the tool mod just to add a few little like flower baskets on these pillars. It was a little bit difficult to do, but I found a way. I didn't put them on the right side because there really isn't anything there. It was more so for show, I would say. I also pulled out some signage because it took a long time for me to go through the menus and find things that I thought would work. I was thinking of adding this ivy and everything, but I think I just added to the clock tower, mainly because the clock tower was looking a little bit naked and I didn't want it to look that way. I added flower boxes as well just to kind of add a little bit of pops of white to bring out the accents in the windows. And the industrial loft kit came in so clutch in this build. I can't wait for you to see the interior. But here we're trying to find some tables and chairs for outside seating. And I was going with this. It's very pretty, but this ended up starting to look a little bit more of a upscale restaurant, and that wasn't really what I was going for. Like, I didn't want it to look bad, but I wanted it to be a little bit more casual, and the interior is so like rough and industrial that I did not think that these tables and chairs were going to work. I think I changed the swatch of the table, but I do bring out some just very basic wooden outdoor chairs for the tables themselves because it wasn't working. It wasn't really giving the vibe that I was going for. And once I had decided in my head to go for a more industrial look on the interior to kind of preserve that this was an older train station, it completely changed everything on the exterior. I think I do it off camera, so you all will see it either in the screenshots or in some additional footage later on. But now we are working on the interior, which has a very simple layout. I was very sad because I added this door to that archway to the kitchen just to kind of keep it closed off. The door technically blocks the archway. So my Sims, well, not my Sims, but the chefs could not actually get to the kitchen. I was very confused playtesting it. So I ended up having to get rid of that door. You'll still see it in the screenshots, I think, but if you download this from the gallery, that door will be gone, which kind of made me sad, but I left it open. I mean, why not? But here is where I wanted to kind of tip my hat to the fact that this was an older train station. So I was imagining the back-to-back benches that you can sit on while you're waiting for your train. It's a place for your Sims to kind of sit and wait for a table if this restaurant is super busy. It's also where the host station is. Now, I did add 2 of them. You only need 1, but I thought it looked a little bit, I don't know, a little bit barren only having 1 of them there. So I did add 2. You're only going to have 1 host or hostess, so it doesn't matter. But I also used the tool mod to lower these curtains a little bit because they are actually for a medium wall height, but I thought that they fit for this build. I also used tons of neon signs that we have from various packs. I mean, from all over the place. There are some from base game and Get Famous, and it was difficult to find them. I can't even lie to you. It was difficult to find them, and I do repeat them numerous times throughout this build, so please don't come for me in the comments. That was an intentional choice because we didn't really have, for me, enough neon for a restaurant like this, for a location like this. I also used a lot of things from Dine Out, of course, because it is a restaurant. And I used this light from the Industrial Loft Kit in this yellow swatch because I thought it made the lettering over that archway really pop. I just really liked this entrance area so much. So downstairs is going to be all restaurant seating as well as the kitchen. And then upstairs is going to be where the bar is and the bathrooms and the little karaoke machine. There's only one. There's one karaoke machine. There's a dance floor so your Sims can actively dance and do some group dances and stuff. And I believe that there are 3 or 4 toilets for your Sims to use in the bathroom. I didn't use actual stalls like the ones we got from Discovery University, but I kind of created my own. So there are plenty of bathrooms for your Sims to use if this ends up being a very busy lot. Now I wanted the interior not only to be industrial, but like kind of quirky in its own way as well. I think I ended up grabbing the ATM machine from City Living and putting it in here, thinking that if your Sims wanted to just withdraw some cash instead of like giving their card to the mixologist to kind of like create a tab. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. Thinking of the those who are going to the bar rather than the restaurant. But I used a lot of piping from, I want to say City Living. We have some with what's it called? Get to Work. There we go. I was going to say Get Famous, but with Get to Work as well. But I liked using a lot of the exposed pipes. I used these columns from Eco Lifestyle that are just pure metal, like pure steel, which I thought was really nice. I also used these bar height tables and stools. I was going to say chairs, but stools from Cottage Living, which I thought fit. This light was from Strangerville. That garage door is from City Living. Like, it was just such a nice mixture of different packs. And it really showed me what we have to achieve this kind of look because I don't do it super often. I think the last time I did it was an apartment a couple of months ago, which was great, but trying to make a community lot that was a little bit more industrial feeling was really fun. I really liked it. I also used, of course, this, what is it called? I'm going to call it piping, the venting, like the vent system or whatever from the Industrial Loft Kit, as well as the fan from that kit. Really came in handy. I was really happy about it. And this is actually, I'm very proud about it. Very, very proud of it. I used these lights. I think you're going to see them in just a moment. I tried a few different ones, but I used this particular light, this one here, from that one, from Journey to Batu. And I thought it worked so nicely to mesh it in with the fan. And I went into live mode and I changed the color of the light for each one. So each room kind of has a different color and the colors kind of mix in a cool way. It has a really neat atmosphere in my opinion. And I was just really proud of it because I typically don't think about changing the color of the light, except for when the light's almost always default kind of yellow looking. And I like the pure white light in my builds because then you can actually see the true color of all the objects and whatnot. But I think for this one, changing some of the colors to like purple or red or green or blue just really gave off a vibe for this community lot. And I was just so happy about it. So you'll see it, I think, mainly in the screenshots. I don't think we're going to see too much of it here in the midst of the build. But I was really proud of it, and I was just kind of going through trying to pull out as many details as I could. And then this is going to be the kitchen. So there are 2 chef stations. So if you choose to actually run this restaurant, you do have to work up to actually hiring a second chef with, I think, all the perk points that you generate from getting good reviews and things like that. I have played with restaurants a fair amount, but I'm certainly not an expert. But I did add the 2 chef stations. There's a sink, there's a trash bin in here, and then I created this little faux island with the bar height table from the industrial loft kit as well. I have some open shelves with some clutter, which I don't think I filmed, only because it took a little bit of time and I really just didn't think it was going to be super valuable for all of you to watch. So I do a little bit of that. I kind of just show you the general look that I was going for and the general setup. And then I think we end up pulling out all the clutter. I just don't show you where I place all of it. That's about it. But then we end up moving on to the second floor. Like I noted, is going to be the bar area where the bathrooms are, where the karaoke machine is. And the only place that's closed off is the bathrooms. It was kind of a struggle, I think, to floor plan this, especially because I wanted the bar to have a bar back. And there were so many windows up on the second floor that I didn't know where I could do it, but this was pretty much the only space. So I tried to make it a little bit more sectioned off. I did use some fencing and spandrels and columns to do that. Now you might see me put down particular fences. Just know that it might change ever so slightly from whatever you download from the gallery, because I did have to play test it, like this fence here with a gate. I couldn't fence off this entire section because it creates a new quote unquote room, which caused all of the roof pieces there ever so slightly, you saw it, kind of clip into the space. So it was a little bit difficult for me to figure it out, but I like separating bars like this with small details, mainly because they're just like standalone and then there's no defined space for it in my head. And I don't like it. I'm not a huge fan. So I was trying to use this low-lying fence to actually create a separation to maintain the spandrel above the bar, but it really just didn't work. So I kind of end up playing around with it a little bit. Again, changing the lights up here off camera to make it a little bit more funky. You're kind of seeing it in flashes downstairs as I grab things, but there's going to be a couple of tables up on this level, and the dance floor that I ended up selecting is one of the smaller ones, and I think it's the cardboard one from Get Together. I think it is. I think that's the one I used. There's also, of course, a ton of different industrial accented pieces up here, and me taking all of the neon and trying to carry it upstairs because we don't have enough neon, and I never thought I would say that. I'm not a huge fan of neon in general, but there's actually a fair amount that I completely spaced on filming, such as the bathroom, so you will see it all in the screenshots. But I hope you all enjoyed this one. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!
Caught in the wind, but never really moving. Spend your whole life wondering what to do. Can't help feeling like time is passing through you. Like life is getting smaller. Surround yourself with friends just to walk away feeling smothered.